Hello there. This is Kathy Rosewell Jonas, licensed clinical social worker
And Heather Shelton, retired nurse.
from Epic Healing Eugene and Radiant Heart Consulting. And we just wanted to welcome everybody to our little virtual space here. We're at Epic Healing Eugene in our garden room right now, which has lots of plants and there's a attached courtyard to it. And we wanted to talk about something that we're really happy to help people do, which is to prepare for a psychedelic experience. Because we are actually feeling like we've got quite a bit of expertise developed since opening up our doors. Became licensed May 5th of 2023 as Oregon and the nation's first licensed service center. So let's begin with how to prepare for a psychedelic experience. What are we learning?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start first by talking about set and setting, which are words that maybe you're familiar with if you've done some research before you found us. One of the things that we provide here at Epic is we provide a very safe and comfortable setting for a psychedelic experience. The setting is the place where you will be. It includes the people you'll be with, the music that may be playing in your room, whether or not you have water available, things like that. Everything that pertains to the actual space that you're in. And then we have the word set. And set is related to the individual's mindset of when they're coming in for their experience. Some of the things that we like to see for folks coming in for an experience is an openness, a curiosity. It's really great to be curious about what might occur in your session. Really love that word. What other things can you think about, Kathy?
Well, when you're saying mindset, I'm going to say heart set.
Oh, I love
So it's really bringing really a core part of ourselves. I mean, this is a vulnerable type of path to take working with psychedelics, especially plant medicine, psilocybin, ayahuasca, is that you're really getting into this very core, deep part of ourselves that that benefits from healing or craves healing. So it does take like a plunge or like a leap that you can actually be yourself. So the more comfortable that you feel coming and preparing for your psychedelic experience, the more you're going to be able to relax and get a connection with the psilocybin while you're having your experience. So that's also part of it, is your heart set.
Definitely. Well, and I think as you just said about really experiencing the psilocybin, something that I find with psilocybin is it helps me also discover parts of myself and really touch some deeper parts that maybe haven't been touched in a while. And so the more we can feel open to the experience and what may unfold, I know one of the things I always like to add on to my intention before any journey is to be open to the message that the mushrooms have for me today. And that does require an openness and a trust. So we really like to talk with people about intention, about our set and setting. What's their mindset? What's your mindset? What's bringing you to this today? What is it that you're hoping to work on or maybe discover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of preparing for a psychedelic experience, I actually learned this from, I used to go to a lot of meditation retreats and spiritual retreats. And so I started to look at these meditation experiences, which I think can be approached, the psilocybin experience can be approached in the same way, is I put myself like in a spiritual boot camp. It's like, oh shoot, I hadn't been meditating regularly. I hadn't been doing a lot of self-care, but now my experience is coming up or my retreat's coming up. So for especially a couple weeks ahead of time, better if you could even do it before, like a couple months ahead of a psychedelic experience, is to start to get yourself ready, emotionally prepared in the sense of resourcing yourself. So, what is resourcing yourself? Resourcing is that you have inner tools of self regulation that are activated and you're practicing. One of the easiest strategies is to become more aware of your breath. I'm moving my hand over here because this is also a wonderful technique that Heather and I both love. Is to have your hand on your heart and to be able to breathe into your heart space, because really what happens is, yes, psilocybin is helping you create neuroplastic change and opening up the window of those new pathways, and that's certainly happening with these plant medicines experiences, and it's been shown for psilocybin and ayahuasca. But really, it's this is the core. This is who we truly are, and this is where you're going to feel things in your psychedelic experience. So if you are already acquainted with coming into your heart space, coming into the breath, being aligned with yourself, starting to feel who you are, even putting your hand maybe more in your stomach too, so you can feel like you're coming into the core of yourself. This is where the showdown happens with the psilocybin experience.
Yeah, we like to say drop out of your head and into your heart. And really, just even that simple act of putting your hand right here on your heart space works. It's such a simple act, but it really does help us to suddenly bring attention to this place. And so then, as Kathy said, breathing into the place, I'm encouraging you all to try it while you watch this video, even just to take a moment and see when really your hand is here and you breathe into this place, if it doesn't bring about a little different sense of awareness. And one of the things that, as Kathy spoke also in the experience, this is the core of where things are going to happen. And so something I think it's important to know is that a lot of people have emotions that come up in a session. We hold grief here. It could be grief, it could be great love, sorrow. I mean, a lot of different emotions can happen. And so just making ourselves aware of this part of our body and what it feels like to feel something here may make it easier for those tears to fall if in the experience you're feeling really sad.
Yeah. And it's always with gentleness and that we start to explore these deeper emotions, these and you know, when you're coming to Epic Radiant Heart Consulting, I mean, all of us are we love this work. So holding space that you can be vulnerable, it's so important for you to feel comfortable. Something that I often will talk to my clients about, or in our preparation groups that we offer, is that psilocybin will show you the elephant in the room. Whatever that you've been kind of like struggling with your life, that yes, people want a blissed out experience and dissolution of the ego sometimes, and they want to have these big experiences. But really, when it comes down to it, it's the day-to-day struggles, right? It's the day-to-day emotions. It's those, the feelings, what to do when things aren't going well. It's like this self-regulation of coming back into yourself. So as you are preparing in this spiritual boot camp, is that you can practice as you are breathing into the core of yourself. And then you can also stretch your horizons a little bit, just stretch out to be okay with things feeling unsettled. Like how do you respond to that? How do you, like, oh, curious, I'm feeling my body's feeling tingly right now. I'm feeling it's interesting. I'm starting to think a critical thought about myself. Why am I doing that? That's interesting. So you become curious and just becoming a little more self-aware, and with this openness and acceptance, self-acceptance, then you're preparing yourself to be able to go through your experience with a little more lightness. I will say that one thing that I often get the sense of, or I'll talk to people about, is that many people that come into a psychedelic experience are bracing themselves for impact, like this horrible thing's gonna happen, like, oh my God, it doesn't. It's like there's a logical little course, or meandering path that psilocybin takes you on, and it begins with just your thoughts, your normal thoughts that you're having every day. And if you're interested in what psilocybin wants to show you about those thoughts, then you'll go deeper with that. And so it's always just kind of like, and those emotions are in the body, right? Like Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score. There's going to be emotions that are in the body that have an opportunity to start coming up and moving. And isn't that why people are doing a psychedelic experience? Because they want healing, right? So playing around and being okay with feeling the emotions. Practice it before your session, and know that everything's going to change so quickly in a psychedelic experience. You hold on to anything, in and through. Do you have some other little tidbits of coaching that you offer your clients?
Well, I would say, just in the experience too, I do talk about it ahead of time, is that just, it's very hard to describe these experiences in words. And so you may be, if you've been doing research, you've probably recognized that. We share little tidbits with people about tools they can use in an experience if they felt like they were having a hard time. Like, a lot of our clients will have an eye mask, and maybe that road you're meandering, as Kathy was talking about, doesn't feel like the road you want to go down. You actually can have control over that. And so here's your eye mask, and I don't really like that road going on. I'm just going to lift up my eye mask.
Get a little light in there.
Look around. Remember, I'm at Epic. See my facilitator and know that I'm safe.
Get a drink of water.
Yeah. So we talk a lot in our individual preparations with clients about little tips and little techniques like that can really make a difference in the session. We also talk about this in our groups, which maybe we could just talk a moment about. Yeah. What does preparation look like here at Epic? So for anyone scheduled for a session, you'll have 2 to 3 hours of private preparation with your facilitator. And as well, we have twice monthly free group preparation meetings. So anyone who's scheduled for a session here is invited to attend those meetings. They're really wonderful. We tend to have quite a few facilitators. It could be anywhere from 1 to 5 facilitators in a meeting. And it's a time for folks to talk with each other about concerns, to ask questions from us. And so we feel I've heard a lot of feedback from clients about how they feel much more ready for an experience after their preparation time with us. So a lot of it is about learning some of these tips and touching base with yourself. Again, I always recommend this practice. And in fact, I think if you're comfortable, maybe we could just end on this little practice. Which is something that we do sometimes in our group. And then I like to do with all my clients ahead of time, because we don't all put our hand on our heart, but I think it's important. So I like to encourage folks, I do this myself every morning and every night, just to put our hand on our heart and close your eyes and have a nice couple deep breaths and just feel yourself in the space where you are.
Yeah, making your exhale longer than your inhale.
Feel your feet on the floor, your bum in the chair. Really note that hand on your chest and how that feels, the warmth that's there. Notice the energy there in your body. And then we can just do a simple gratitude practice from here. Just think of 3 things that you're grateful for. It can be simple things like the tree outside your bedroom window, or that the sky is blue today. It can be someone you love, a person or a pet. It could be a place that you love to spend time. It could be the fact that your feet work and you're able to walk. You know, really, like when we sit down and actually take a moment to focus on what we're grateful for, there tends to be much more than we're paying attention to. So this is a really nice, very simple practice that can just we can do it in a minute, 2 minutes. So it doesn't require a whole hour out of your day to schedule this time. It's something very simple you can add in today.
And you can do it with your eyes open as you're driving, as you're conducting yourself in your life as part of the spiritual boot camp of practicing, getting yourself ready for a psychedelic experience. And of course, we have lots of support after a person has their psychedelic experience, because it's the 6-8 hour experience is just one part of it. And then the integration, and this is also stuff we continue in the integration, right? Finding ways to keeping the insights alive and finding ways to continue to help ourselves stay regulated in our lives and keeping the energy of the experience, that motivation to keep us going. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be making a video on integration next. Okay, take good care. Bye-bye.